Yes, good night. And of course, we have already established the protocol, so I don't have to repeat all of it, but good night, bonsoir, tout le monde, welcome everyone. Right. So, I heard T. Black speak a while ago about him being disqualified last year, and now he rise to be the king. I was the one responsible for disqualifying him, so I put my hand up. So perhaps I can also get credit for making him king, right? Okay, so I take it. Good. So I'm here, as Embert suggested, in my role as chairman of the Carnival Music Management Committee. It was previously known as the Calypso Management Committee, and we're really responsible for managing the disbursement of government's annual contribution to the Calypso music component, but not including steel band, which is handled differently and some may say less favorably, but that's a matter of interpretation. Preliminary estimates suggest that this past season, the expenditure for the tent amounted to $264,000, and that covered the artist performance fees, the backup music for the tents, the sound system, security, etc. We had 9 Calypso tents and 2 soca shows held between May 20th and June 17th. Semifinals were held on the 24th of June, semifinals for the soca, 24th of June, and the Calypso semifinals was the 25th of June. The finals were held on July 7th and 8th respectively. So basically you're looking at 7 weeks, a season that lasted 7 weeks. So the expenditure covered I wanted to say that the expenditure related to the staging of semi-finals and finals were handled by the parent body, which is the Carnival Planning and Management Committee. So the committee I only have to take care of the 10th season. Yeah? Good, just want to understand that. 7 weeks, and after that the artists have to wait until next year to get an opportunity to perform, because nothing happens when Calypso ends to after jazz next year. Nothing has happened in the past years. Literally, it starts after jazz until Carnival, and then that's it, silent. Not even on the radio in Calypso. That's the thing. But the reality is that without the government subvention, there will be no 10th season, as the art form has become dependent on this government contribution. The Calypso Association has been dormant for more than 8 years, and attempts to form representative bodies have been unsuccessful. We heard about artists representing themselves, then more recently, balance, but that's somewhat off balance now. And so, by default, the body I represent, or have the privilege to chair, becomes a kind of the Calypso Association. People expect representation from us. Now, there's a lot of talk on social media and other places, talk shows, but no progress, because it has become very easy just to sit back and wait for the annual contribution, the annual subvention, which makes everything happen. That's our reality. Now, in previous years, the whole idea of forming the CMC was to reduce the level of discontent that was taking place in terms of the late payment of bills and artists not getting paid because the tent didn't make a profit, etc., etc. So they formed the CMC in 2016. I think Kenny Anthony was still a prime minister. And then we manage the subvention, we pay all the bills of all the service providers within 3 days. That was the the standard that we set. And we had our own bank account, and we managed the contribution well. But in the last 2 years, since the rebranding to Carnival Music Management Committee, the funds are centrally managed. And this year has been particularly problematic with delays in payment. I'm sure all the Calypsonians recognize that, and mounting levels of dissatisfaction. So this calls for some serious discussion going forward and some solutions. There is general consensus that the quality of carnival music has improved since COVID, and we are trending in the right direction. Credits must go to the artists, the musicians, the producers for their hard work. Soca music in particular deserves special mention, and this, in my humble opinion, soca music was better than Calypso. Even if Calypso was good, soca music hit a high this year. Particularly, yes, with, you had, of course, Imran Nodi and his 2 good hits, both of them good, by the way. Then you had Asia with Sasho, my favorite, my personal favorite, and of course the other one, Hello Carnival. I love these 2 tunes. And by the way, the Calypso has some gems as well. I like Referendum, or whatever it was called. Referendum. And of course, Iron Ola from TC Don, and of course the Song of the Year, which was Ghetto Cries With Dress Hood by the King. So special round of applause for them. Now, the demo segment, which we have hailed as our new emerging sound in St. Lucia, this year it did not have the same level of prominence as in previous years. And somehow the demo segment cannot fit into the criteria for soca and groovy soca and what have you. And so they find themselves not being able to compete. But you know, the demo segment is about single lines and a lot of vibe, and we play in the song and so. And of course that cannot fit into the soca criteria. What is it again? The theme is what? You all know the things better than me. The musical content, lyrical content, music, crowd response, and all of these things. So we have to have a discussion going forward as to how we can create some avenues for expression of the new segment and to help them improve, in my view, the lyrical content, because the music is infectious, is good, but there have been some concerns about it. Now, I don't want to interfere with the people culture. It's good, I like it, but some people, turn up their nose at it, with some of the content being a little risky, perhaps. It can be a lot of things, split in the middle and all of these kind of things, Well, I mean, we heard about a famous wall, right? Which the Archbishop had to make a special comment on. But right now, somewhere in Texas, I see they have replicated the Berlin Wall. So imagine our culture is being exported. Of course, we should have copied the wall, yes, of course. There's also the issue of the change in the calendar of carnival events and the creation of a special window for national events to avoid the inevitable clash with the fetes and the boat rides and the fetes in the upmarket, in the north. The things that we go off. Anyway, we have to have a discussion about that. Some people believe we must stick to the tradition, go back to the night, the Saturday night, in the last weekend for Calypso. Some people think we have our window where the crowds can come. I know Boots have his own views on that. He has expressed it publicly, and of course, I believe it's a good discussion topic going forward. So we have a number of issues that we have to discuss. One of them is, should we maintain the 2-song competition, or should we follow some of the other islands and switch to a 1-song competition? That question has come up, Discussion. So far, we have stuck to the two-song competition. It's our unique thing. Perhaps, I don't know, should we continue? Should we go to one song? That's a question that we need to discuss. Should we reduce the number of semi-finalists? At the moment, we have 18 semi-finalists. It means that 36 songs on the night. It becomes a bit boring, long show. Some people should not be there, they argue. But that's another discussion. How do we get a representative body for soca, calypso, and Denny segment? How do we get it? How do we get back to calypsoans and artists taking care of their own business? We must get back there. That's my view. The CMM, that's another discussion. So we need to find out how we can do that. Do we continue with the new structure and sequencing of the national event, or do we want to revert to the traditional approach of the pre-COVID years? These are some of the issues I suspect that we have to contemplate as we discuss the future of carnival music in St. Lucia. And I'm sure there's lots of questions, lots of things that we can speak about. But of course, we have some other people to speak, so this is where I'd like to end. Thank you very much for your attention.
Merci. Go away, it's ready to discuss. We'll make it happen.
Not if I can help you.
Merci, Kofi. Thank you very much, Claude. I'm sure you'll have questions, and we'll take all the questions together. So let me invite Rawle. If I try to be a brief bio of Rawle, that might be a lecture in itself. But it is Rawle from there. But Rawle, as I said, is a scholar of Calypso. Rawle has done some special interviews with the Mighty Sparrow, and perhaps knows his thinking in depth. In addition to some Rawle has also been the founding director of the Center for Creative Arts at St. Augustine. It has produced quite a number of theatre workers across the region. I think we have one graduator. Okay, maybe others. We've been doing some work with Takeover Tent on producing a story of 40 years. And when Rawle left from his former role, he founded the Caribbean Yard Campus and taking his work to a different level. And the trip to St. Lucia this year is the first of its kind for the group, and we hope it will not be the last. So we want to welcome everybody, and let me welcome you to share some thoughts with us on Calypso and Emancipation.
Good evening, all. Recognize, well, what's it now? All the things here tonight. Yeah. As executive director, one of my friends, when I came in yesterday, told me, don't forget your own very solution. And distinguished guests. A lot of what you raised, Mr. Paul, a lot of the issues you raised, I expect Mr. Ray McDonald, who's traveled with us, Castman, a Calypsonian from Trinidad, right, would like to engage you on, right? Because I think so many of those issues affect us as well. They're very severe. So our discussion between the two of you, I think, might be very fruitful. But my focus tonight is really more on the role of Calypso. It's not contemporary, really. It's more on the role of Calypso in terms of emancipation. This is emancipation period. we're just coming from emancipation ourselves. So I take this opportunity to look at it through some of the work that I've done over the years. So I've been referring to essentially the work, my connections with 3 Calypsonians, and as I say, looking at the historical role of Calypso in terms of emancipation. I want to just establish 2 key points. One is that when we're talking about emancipation, I'm not referring to what happened in 1854. Right? Emancipation for Africans began the moment that we recognized we were enslaved. From the time we realized that we were enslaved and being taken away from our country, the process of emancipation began. 1824 was a formality. I want to establish that emancipation is a process that continues today. That is the view that I'm taking. I also want to establish that when I'm talking about Calypso, I'm dealing here not necessarily with the finished form that we arrived at Trinidad primarily, of course, that's my area of research. Not with the finished form that we arrived at the turn of the 20th century, late 19th, early 20th century. Right? Not much with that. But with all the forms, the musical forms that influenced and created Calypso. Right? I'm talking here about calendar songs, about work songs, about folk songs, about Orisha, Oriki, right, or praise songs, and so on. All these forms that came together. I'm seeing that as part of the emancipatory process, because all of them were elements of the Calypso. I want to establish it. The first Calypsonian that I'm referring to, I'm also a playwright. So a lot of the work that I've done on Calypso, I've transferred to theatre. Right? And for those of you, some of you have seen the play Sing the Chorus, which I did in 1990. But it is based on primarily on the story of a Calypsonian by the name of Growling Tiger. Right? People my age, I'm older like Robert, would know of Growling Tiger. Neville Macano. Neville Macano was born in 1916. Right? He died in 1995. And it was very interesting because his maternal line was Congo, and his paternal line was Yoruba. So he had a very strong African influence. Right? You'll hear some of his music. I've selected some of the things that you'll hear in a while. Very strong African influence. But when I met him, I didn't have a play in mind. I was doing research at the time. And he gave me 2 Calypso, 2 songs in Yoruba. Right? The first one was given to him by an old Yoruba descendant in Digo Martin, a man called Ame Zaye. And that song tells of a priestess who was taken aboard a slave ship. And she kept asking, "Where are you taking me? Where are you taking me?" And she couldn't get a satisfactory answer. So she was chained, right? But she disappeared. When she left, the other enslaved persons sang a song about her. They call it Ame. Her name was Ame. And I just made as a chant. ami, ami fushuki, ami fushuki, ami damu wa awao, ami damu wa awao, ami damu wa awao. When you got it translated, because he gave us a rough translation, and then I had a colleague looked at it, and it was correct. It says, ami gone, ami disappear, ami fushuki, ami disappear, ami damu wa awao, ami gone back home, ami damu wa awao. We have, and that is probably because it was a song coming out of on the slave ship. It is probably the earliest reference that we have in terms of oral tradition to a song that records a moment, which is one of the functions of Calypso, to record our history. Okay? It is telling us, if it were not for that song, we would not know about Ami. So, he gave me that one. The enslaved ancestors, because I really make no distinction generally. I speak about my ancestors in terms of ourselves. So when we were brought to the plantations, the song, the role of the song, Calypso type song, right, served two purposes. On the one hand, the evidence that we have in 1803, we have a rebellion, news of a conspiracy taking place in one of the plantations. And this is in Diego Martin. And the song that's written, that the enslaved was singing, the rebellion wasn't successful. The song that they were singing is very interesting. This is 1805. Sorry, 1805. The song that they were singing was, it said, and excuse my Creole, but it said, Penu Kamaje. Yeah, Penu Kamaje, viens. Penu Kamaje, viens, sa viens, beke. Sa viens, beke. Right? Penu Kamaje, sa viens, beke. Vino Kabouin, sa sangre, beke. And the translation that I was told is that the flesh, our bread, is the flesh of the white man. Our wine is the blood of the white man. And the song ends, hey, Sangoman, Songez, Sangoman. Right? And what I was told is that they're saying, remember Haiti. Remember Haiti. Well, that was a song that the enslaved, it was a secret society, what we call in Trinidad, convoi. Right? They had these convois on the different plantations. And this was the song that was really rebellion at the time. It was 1905, and they were singing about Haiti. When was the Haitian Revolution? When was the Haitian independence declared? 1804. 1804. So you see what's going on there? Right? The planters were on edge. Okay? They were on edge. And it's so again, the impact of Haiti, right? And I'm marking that moment in song. The other side of what was happening with the plantation was the ways in which now Calypso, as they call it, was being used as a way of adapting to the new reality. All right? In Trinidad, we had one of the most terrible planters was from Martinique. Right? He was Begora. And he established a reputation for a great deal of cruelty. Right? But he had one enslaved person. Not my language, I do not use the term slave. Enslaved person. And I do not use the term master because we had no master. Except, of course, in the other world. He established a reputation for cruelty. But he had this enslaved person called Grosjean, who was a good singer, chant well. And he became the first Met Calypso, we're told. Right? The master of Calypso. And Grosjean was the only person who could, when he was in a rage and so on, who could sedate him and mollify him and so on. So Calypso then had this function as part of its emancipatory thing too, of being able to adapt to entertain, which we know today, to entertain and to please. Right? That is one of the functions of the thing. As I say entertain and please, I want to recognize in Veda, Papa Veda they call you. I heard you for the first time yesterday, and you're a master. You're a master. You're a master. You know, the quality of the song, the quality of the music, the content of the song, and the ease of delivery. Thank you. So Calypso is like that. It's entertaining, please and so on. Right? We're from Small, Mr. Small. Sparrow. Sparrow talks, you all know slave, right? Sparrow slave. But there's a verse in that, in particular, that I think tells about the Begora relationship.
I'm a slave from a land so far. I was born and I was brought here from Africa. I'm a slave from a land so far. I was born and I was brought here from Africa. Well, it was used like fire for the righteous man every day. I don't want to be weeks and weeks before we cross the seas to reach in the West Indies. You make me know, I said I know, I toil so hard each day. I'm dying. My request was small, but the sooner the wicked to answer me when I fall. Without chance and sin, so lucky, that wicked and cruel man, that was the only medicine to make him listen. And it's so began, he made me well.
That's it. Right? Yeah, describing the pain and the suffering and so on, and the only medicine to make him listen. Yes, to dance and sing to express our feelings, and it's so Calypso began. Right? So, Sparrow describes that relationship. The second Calypsonian that was Tiger. I'll come back to Tiger in a minute. But the second Calypsonian that I had I'll come to that. In 1823, a woman by the name of Carmichael, Mrs. Carmichael, she and her husband had plantations in St. Vincent, but she came to Trinidad for the Christmas. And she heard a song which she wrote down. And it's supposed to be the first written record, because of course Army and so on, nobody knew about that. The first written record of a song, folk song as it were. And the song, she was told, is about the runaways. People when they run away from the plantation and they're up in the hills, the Negmawa. The song goes, the words, because we don't know the music, the words, fire in the mountain. Fire in the mountain. Nobody fi out 'em. Take me daddy bow stick, go out 'em. Make a monkey out of 'em. Fire in the mountain, nobody to out 'em. That is what she has written down. But what is interesting is that I was a Calypsonian de Fosto. He's passed now. The first word he's singing here is fire in the mountain. He's just shout it out. You know, like a signature then. Right? He has saying, fire in the mountain! I can't do it, right? So I call him and say, the first thing you got that? It's fine. Well, I know that going back to 18 thing. The first well, he was come out of an orphanage and so on, right? He didn't really go to high school and university. He would not necessarily have read. Like, quite unlikely he would have read the thing. So I asked him where you get it from. He said, boy, I get that from Maestro. Maestro passed as well, right? So I went back to Maestro. You can give me the Maestro? Yeah. Let me hear that. Let me hear the start. Let me hear the start. At the start of it, he has the chord. But anyway, he has it at the end of the verse too. I find that interesting. Thank you. Mr. Small, thank you. I find that very interesting. Here's this thing. I was able to. The thing is, here's this call that there, somewhere out. I can understand the cost, so you see, like it. Space for us to wonder about ancestral memory. So that's after emancipation in Trinidad, had a whole period when carnival was formed. Yes, the carnival was formed. And that's been sitting is a thing, right? The whole of the story. In that period, the song that ex-enslaved calendar song. Right. You familiar with the calendar? No? Just to get you.
1769. Your lights are on.
Calendar is stick fight. And the point I'm making is
DB in the land, DB in the land, they're humming. DB in the land, DB in the land, and they're humming. DB in the land, oh, DB in the land, and they're humming. DB in the land, DB in the land, and they're humming. The snake in the grass wobbling, DB in the land, and they're humming. DB in the land, DB in the land, and they're humming. DB in the land, oh, DB in the land, and they're humming. DB in the land, DB in the land, and they're humming. The snake in the grass bubbling, DB in the land, they're humming. DB in the land.
right. That's the war dance, right?
DB in the land, oh.
So in that period, the Jamet period, you had there was a song that the stickmen used to use. They said jab se yo neg. Right? Jab se yo neg me die set nom la bla. Right? The black man, God is, the devil is black. Jab se yo neg. But God is a white man. Me die set nom la bla. But they say that although they felt, the respectable people felt that that's kind of stigmatized the black race, the stickmen wouldn't let it go, because when they sang that song, they were infused with a spirit that they couldn't feel the blows when they were fighting. Right? So that song stayed with the stickmen. And in fact, I used the refrain in one of my earlier plays, Ailawa, right? As a way, but that was dealing more with sort of intra-communal struggle and so on. But that remained a powerful thing throughout the 19th century. There's this other song, Congo Bara, is based on calendar, but the rhythm, I play that rhythm for you because that is not the rhythm that we get in the Calypso, right? But I want to use that just to introduce the other Calypso, and well, to go back really, because I introduced them already, to go back to Tiger, right? Because one of the things about memory, I talk about ancestral memory. One of the things about that is that it's not necessarily that we are talking, it's not necessarily a matter of content, that we are saying what we are doing here is creating ancestral memory, right? It's a question of, like we saw with fire in the hills and so on, fire in the mountains, it just comes, yeah, and it makes the links. That is really the gold. But it's all right. It's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead with it. Go ahead with it. Because it's still Tiger.
The gold in Africa, Mussolini won from the emperor.
All right, okay, beautiful. I'm referring to two things there. One, talking about the gold in Africa, Mussolini wants you to dealing with the invasion, the Italian invasion of Ethiopia, 1934. So here we have the Calypso functioning as a way of creating solidarity, Pan-African solidarity, right? As part of the emancipatory process. But he's doing more. That tone that he uses, what they call the minor. What do you feel about that? What do you hear in that? Lamentation. And there's something I wrote when I did a thing on Tiger, right? When I was doing the research with Tiger, I wrote his biography. But just this paragraph here, when I was talking about the way in which he sings, right? The mournful tone of the miner reaches beyond the 19th century calypso to a nostalgia, a yearning that is at the root of the experience of the New World African. It is the same visceral loss that finds voice in black blues, in the wailing of Bob Marley, in the pleas of the possessed asphyxiating between drums. Beyond the war chants of Batonia and Gayap songs of the slaves, Tiger's tone recalls the despair of the passage. Looking back, it mourned the rupture from the homeland, and looking ahead, it feared the worst. So we are talking the connections here and more than lyrical. Okay, they're in the very quality and tenor of the song. All right. I'm summing up now. The point I'm making with all of this really is about the way in which Calypso deals with the erasure that we historically face, right? And the last song, in fact, I think speaks to that most poignantly. It's a song by Black Stalin, and I want you to listen to it really because it's Black Stalin has crossed over and so on. But I think it's a particularly important song dealing with this question of the erasure. Mr. Small, One Slave. You would not have heard this. You know a lot of Black Stalin's music, but it's unlikely that you would have heard this one. I used to call, and I used to call Stalin and say, hey, one slave. I say, how you write that, boy? I say, what are you talking about, you know? One slave escaped. What did he escape from?
From the system.
He escaped from the system. He escaped from the system. You see, and the system is a system of erasure. Rubbing out the memory. Right? With the thing with the education, the first communion and all of that. No offense meant to anybody, but I really see. But the other interesting thing about that Calypso, unlike the Sparrow Calypso, is one slave. One. I mean, you know, so what Stalin is pointing to my mind is the responsibility of each of us. There's nobody who could free you, who could emancipate you really. Nobody could do that. It's your responsibility to free yourself. Huh? To make an escape. It's up to you. It's one slave. You could, and as the king said in his song, when he was introducing the song, that one of us, one person can change the world. You know, that's the view. Yeah? So that's the lesson, I think, in that. And so the final word for the United Stallions, one slave. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. Very deep for a Monday night after a long weekend. Heavy stuff, but I think we need to take stock now and then and think of how far Calypso could go, how far it has been going. Okay, right now we probably have a short discussion. I prefer us to have some chat over some drinks in a while, but if you want to just fire one or two questions to Rawle or yes, I don't see any other question. There's a mic. That last song there, I'll be good. Yeah, because you never heard it.
I never heard it before.
Yeah.
And he started by saying he anticipated that he would not have heard it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. That suggests to me that it is not as popular as it should have been.
No, it really.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Did he compete with that?
Sorry?
Did he sing that on stage or something?
Yes, he did.
And you didn't do well?
That's recorded, you know, it's recorded. It's one of his later songs.
That could have gone over people's heads. That thing is deep, you know.
Yep.
That is so deep, most people won't even get it.
That's right.
That's the problem with these kind of songs. Unlike Sparrow's song, which is a more straightforward handling of the issue.
Yeah.
A story.
Yes.
But this is it. Listen to that 4 or 5 times. Each time you hear something different.
Right.
Really good song, man.
Yes.
Really deep.
Yes.
And I'm curious that you say that he competed and didn't succeed. How was it accepted in Trinidad?
Sorry, not sure if he competed, but he sang.
Okay. How did Trinidad react to generally?
I don't think Trinidad, they don't know it. I have introduced this song to Trinidad audiences.
My God, what a waste.
Yeah, Trinidad don't know it.
What a waste. Wasted talent.
Stalin is somebody.
No, I mean, the song is wasted. That's what I'm saying, because nobody...
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I know why they make it. Why the white Trinidadians don't know, and we don't know about it. Because when you say one slave get away, stop him before it's too late.
Yes.
Too late. What do you mean too late? Before you contaminate the others, before people hear, before people pay attention to it. So in Trinidad it work. They kill it before it get to other people in the Caribbean. If they get to us, kill it first. Kill it. That's not what we want going around the place. You know. So yeah, that song has a lot in it. Yes. So the one nigger get away. One leg marron. One leg marron. Sachet. See now. We have to make a lesson of him. That shows us what's happening on the plantations. Sleeping after. If one get escaped, one catch him, you must find him, send the dog, send everything, because you must make an example of that one. They must not think that anybody can escape and escape. No.
That's right.
So that shows that song has a lot in it, yeah. It's, you know what, it shows us what happened on the plantation, yeah, how serious that was, that these planters, so-called masters, right? Yeah, that they were so serious, they were so afraid. They were so afraid, they were so, you know, and they're so wicked. The wickedness, it shows you the only that, yeah? One man, one escape, and now gotta find him before it's too late, before he's still alive and contaminate somebody else. And songs, that happens in songs there. Any songs that we have in the Caribbean that are going to start a furor, kill it. Any man who wants to start stirring up the population and everything, get rid of that man, get it, kill him, put him down quick. You know, that's what that tells me.
Robert.
We got to find that slave immediately.
So just a quick point. Well, earlier today, Rawle was talking about shadow. I told you I really love shadow. And the two members of shadow is the griot. Well, that's time back to how you started your chat with us tonight. I've got a history. And when our Kaiser sing, Papa TC, or blacks, you know, what it did is what the griots used to do. You're recording the history, Stalin, which you just said there. You're recording the history and what came true. You're leaving it for the past. You're passing on the history and the culture and the songs and the stories. So it's not just a case of going and saying second Kaiser. I think go back to your first points when we started off tonight, where the Kaiser, the Kaiser lady, as griot, you're doing something very serious in terms of recording, holding, shaping, carrying forward the history. So we talk about emancipation. What we're going into understanding emancipation from, the stories are going on, from the histories that our griots and so on gave us, whether from the slave trip or whatever, what they experienced. So the Kaiser writers and singers are important in that fundamental sense of the culture of our country, because they carry on the history and the story and so on. And that came out again in Stalin. And of course for me, Shadow is a man. Shadow is a man.
Shadow mania. But just to add to what Robert was saying there about the griot and so on, that the task, unlike the African griot, who has a continuous history to record, the task confronting the Calypsonian, confronting all of us, really, is to create the memory. Because memory is fragmented. You have to create it. You have to put it together and shape the thing. You know, that's what the work is. That's what the work is about.
You watch a man like this, you see Francis now and say the Calypso, but you never listen to what he said in the song. That's one.
That's an opinion here.
That's matters. You see, it matters. And I think we have to appreciate Calypso for what it is. What it tries to do is not what soca is doing at all. We're not making people dance on the road. Let's not do that. I think we have to consider Calypso in
Mr. Gibbons, thank you. Thank you.
That's my point. There's no basis for comparison. Because someone is better than the other. Let's go to the difference.
Mr. Gibbons, thank you so much for this moment of reflection. I have a comment and a question. So, growing up, Calypso for me was like a third parent. And Mrs. Siamini wrote, I grew up in a household where Calypso was pure gold. That hit my soul because it was a way of, I guess, social engineering me, disciplining me, And I think that's in my reflection of the season. I had almost like an epiphany that maybe Calypso was the silent Ten Commandments, sort of, because of how it functioned in my household. But then again, the media for consumption was our national radio station, so that was the primary
Media.
thing that we heard at home. So my question is that, given how short of a season we have here in St. Lucia, as Mr. Powell mentioned, 7 weeks, you no longer hear the Calypso unless you want to hear it and you go to YouTube to consume. Do you think that the function of Calypso and how it could reprogram and social engineer a generation, a country, do you think that is lost for us in St. Lucia? And I guess, I don't know what applies for other Caribbean islands, but is it a cause for deep reason or heartbreak for us in St. Lucia?
Well, I think it's a call for action. I think we have a very strong heritage. As I was saying, I heard some of the repertoire of Invader yesterday, and I would imagine that there are others, right? I mean, when I was here some years ago, who's Delta's Calypsonian again? One second. Rawle was on top, and so on. So you have a heritage, and you've written about terror, and so on. So you have a deep heritage in terms of Calypso, deep legacy. What happened with me, which might be an example, is that when I got back to Trinidad in 80s or whenever it was, and I was aggrieved at the fact that they couldn't hear good Calypso on the radio, right? But I'm not somebody who's stand up and complain, right? I do what I have to do, right? So I ain't bothered with complaint. I just say what I can do, and I write plays. So I take the Calypsos and wrote a play. I wrote several of them as a result. And that really was a kind of resurgence in terms of the appreciation of the Calypso of those years. I wrote it in the 1930s and 40s, 1950s and 60s, Spoiler and Sparrow and Thing, Melody and so on, right? So the work is there to be done. You can't, sometimes you're just wasting energy and you're hitting against a wall, you know what I mean? You just have to do what you have the capacity to do, right? And you have a lot of talent here. People painting and writing and so on all the time. You use the material that you have. Because for me, it's more than just a political commitment, it's an ancestral commitment. Right? It's their voices. These are the people who wrote. Some of them get nothing there, died in poverty. Those who weren't enslaved died in poverty, right? The talent going to waste and so on. We've got to take that up, right, and bring it to fruition. And that's the work.
Take a couple more comments or questions. Not on what Poppy said about soca.
Yeah. My little observation, solution, I would like to know if you've been through that in Trinidad as well. I think here we love the Calypso, and we don't care about the Calypsonian. Because we see them just fading away. And some of them are sing some great calypsos which we all know. We sing them all the time. And nothing really happens to the Calypsonian. So it's my observation that we love Calypso, but not the Calypsonian. Am I making sense? I don't know if I'm making...
I will ask, can I ask Casman to respond to that? Or Calypsonian from Trinidad?
I have so many things I want to say. I'll be an expert here.
Yeah, start. I'll come back to you.
Yeah, might as well. Might as well come and take
I
the seat.
think what we need to do, when we do our lecture intro,
Yeah, come on,
what we need to understand is that music is not static. No kind of music is static. Somebody is making the point that they can stand Calypso of Emancipation. And Calypso cannot die. There is a song that was the theme song of a movie called Sting. That song was written in 1920s, like this contraption who gathered people. In 1970s, it was used as a theme song of a movie and made millions of dollars. So music doesn't die. The second thing I want to say is that the Calypso line in our society has changed. The scenario has changed. So the Calypso line has been shifted to the other side. What has happened is that in the 1980s, dance music took over. We had a lot of in the 1980s and Calypso started getting soca and what happened. And that music is the music of effect. The youths are not coming to the tents. Our tents in Trinidad are not populated at carnival tents. What is happening is that they go to the parties and there's a big market for that scenario. So you go to the parties and the big fests, not these massive fests, 5,000 people in a fest, and you can't get 50 people in a tent. So it has become where the Calypso has been somewhat sidelined. So it's not, as Rawle said, it is us to do the work. Because, as I was making the point this morning, we as artists have a job to do. We have to, our job is repairing the breach. We have a situation where through enslavement, we are breaking people. Nobody could pass through enslavement in the bottom. And the need now, as the artist, is only the art can do it. The politician can't. They have to make it, they see things just in front of them. So what we have to do as artists, whatever area of operation in, we have to understand that our work is the work of repair. So when we Calypsonian come with the conscious lyrics and brings it out, we have to understand in our society the value. But if the work is being done, it could happen. It could happen. Another point I wanted to make is that in St. Lucia, I heard Mr. Paul making some serious points that affect across the board in the pyramid. And it is these situations where we have to reach out to each other. We have to reach out to each other and understand what is the purpose and what is what we are carrying. The heritage and very important in this dance. So I don't think I'll go on further, because next thing I'll sing a song too. I'll do emancipation, I'll do it, there's a voice and chorus. There's a Calypsonian system. He's singing Acapulco. Not a cappella, And this is in line with the emancipation theme. My search for identity. There are some calypsos that will ask questions and the leader and the audience to reflect on these questions and bring about change within their person. South Africa and all that silly propaganda. But for 100 years I taught ya. I know you say look to the future, but am I equipped to proceed in spite of your avarice and greed? Must I always sacrifice at the altar of compromise? I said no when my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, hey man, where my culture, where my treasure, where my gold, where my soul? Hey, where my heroes, where my clothes, where my drum, I want back my religion. When we check out that crucial pass, then we can go on that forward march. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And so one of the things I pondered upon is how can we ensure how is it that we have the shared cultural background across the Caribbean, in that all of us embraced the Calypso when it came out of Trinidad, or when it was popularized in Trinidad. Yet you don't have that level of exchange or that level of consumption of other Caribbean islands, because almost everybody here can talk about the mighty Sparrow, right? Even if he was, my understanding was he was Grenadian, but he moved to Trinidad. You have Starlin and you have David Rudder. We all here can have been consuming that level of Calypso, but we don't have that level of consumption in the other Caribbean islands of our Calypso. So from your learned perspective, as one who does a lot of research, can you maybe explain to us maybe why is it that we have not had that level of, and I dare say, integration with other Caribbean islands, or with that level of consumption of our Calypso? Is it a case where, you know, I think the quality of Calypso, and I may be a bit biased, is very, very, very good here. So what can you say based on your own experience, maybe a reason why we have not really transcended the periphery of our own island and gone down to maybe Trinidad, or, you know, that sort of thing?
It's part of a dynamic, you know, on the one hand, Calypsonians have been integrated and have been moving across the region for years. I mean, in Trinidad, for instance, we had a number of Calypsonians from all over, right, who used to come in the tents. And of course, Trinidad and Calypsonians, as you said, are all over the place, right? So we know about Short Shirt. Short Shirt almost won the road march with Stories Lego. He probably did win it, you know, but anyway. For all of them, probably did win it. Yeah, you know, so, yeah, we all have an appetite for good music. And of course, the Bajans, you know, they're all the time and so on. So but that is happening at the level of the industry itself, right? At the same time, on the other hand, you also get the isolation, the sense of and I'll tell you why. The sense of this nationalism, right? When you get below the surface, hey, there's a Lucian thing, you know, or there's a Trinity, you know, you can't really with march here. You know, you have the best song, yeah? And so on, you get all that thing. And that really comes through the politics. through the political history of division in the Caribbean. And this is why the greatest, a friend of mine always says, the most revolutionary thing that we could do is unite. Once you can bring people together, that's where the revolution begins. And again, to say that this is not just when we talk, right? The success of the Haitian Revolution. I'm not saying that now we have got to pick up guns and run, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the fact that we owe to ourselves to realize who we are, and we can only do that through coming together, right? And that is in itself the revolution, right? I was saying that the Haitian Revolution happened in that way. It was the ability of Toussaint and the other leaders to pull the Negma and the enslaved from different plantations together, right? And to move forward. So that remains the challenge for us. Federation didn't work. CARICOM is where it is. Right, we can go. But we are the people, and we've got to do it on ourselves. Our people from Parliament were here some years ago, right? We built some relationships, right? We at Caribbean Yard campus are doing the same thing now. This is what we're about, right? Recognition of self in the other. Something I say, let me just finish that statement as I started there. So, we have a saying, and all of we is one, right? All of we is one, and in Jamaica the same thing, out of many one people. My philosophy is that in one is all of we. Right? So you have to be able to recognize that in yourself as an individual, everybody is there, right? And you have to take responsibility for that. Ashe.
Thank you. Okay, somebody want to talk again? We're about to clock out here. Junior. Yeah.
I just want to change the geography of listening someone going back to Africa. In my short space of time in South Africa, which is a kind of a slavery too.
Yeah.
I good? All right. So
you are good. You're not good.
That's the history. Sorry about it.
Okay, you're good now.
Give thanks. Yes, my Frederick. I wanted to look at what was happening in South Africa and the songs of liberation in South Africa during apartheid, and the parallel between our struggles on the enslavement and so forth. Two things, important things to me, is the power of song and music. When I was in South Africa doing research, they interviewed a slave master, so to speak, under the apartheid, strong man. And they said when people used to come down, they oppressed people, saying, Sociolosa, Esutaba, Africa. And the militants, he said, they told him to stand your ground. Stand your ground and be firm. Stand your ground and be firm. But he said the music, the power of sound, they have guns, they have rifles, and they are told to shoot. But he said you couldn't do nothing. Yes. The roaring, the music, the power, the dynamism, it just paralyzed them. And I am saying to show you the power of song and Kaiso, the role of the Kaisonians in the country. Is a dialogue we have in, That's right. And we need to big up our Calypsonians, encourage them, and let me continue to fight the battle in song, because song and dance is powerful. It destroyed apartheid. Yes. So there's nothing we can destroy. Blessings. Sociolosa, esutaba, sepume Africa. We
They say sometimes you lose your shoes, you wash his money. If I get $100. Alright folks, we can go on all night. Very nice discussion. It's always good to end it on a high, so you leave thinking. But before we clock out done? Right. Clock out serious, you know. There's a special presentation to be made by TOT. This year, Takeover, for those of you who are not familiar, Takeover is one of the tents. They joined with another tent called Soca Village International, and they have been collaborating for the last 8 years, from about 2016 2017. And this year, we decided to raise some funds for the Folk Research Center, because many of the members are part of FRC, and they used to pass around a box during the tent. You could drop a small contribution. In fact, we encourage the other tents to do the same. But I don't think the reception was as good as theirs, and everybody was thinking about it, but they had their own logistical issues to deal with. And Cecil Charles, who is the driver, not the slave driver, the driver behind TOT. So he's the slave driver, and this is his wife speaking, you know. As was the one who was really managing that process, and he's agreed tonight to make a small contribution to FRC, and I invite Pablo to receive the money, because once priests receive money, it's blessed, it grows.
Okay, good night everybody. The only reason why we see all those guys here, this year our theme was blending youth with experience. So the youngsters and the veteran himself are going to be part of this presentation. TOT Soca Village, we have been collaborating for a number of years, but we have also done stuff with the FRC. I don't know how many people remember that a couple of years ago we actually did a concert at Pigeon Island, okay, where we brought down Burning Flames and so on. So we always think out of the box, and as Ember did say, this is just the beginning. The other thing too is that the envelope is so heavy that I also have to have all them fellows with me too. All right, so Kevin, who is one of our younger guys, who came in, sang with the tent for the first time this year, not the first time in Calypso. Actually, I think he actually plays third in the intercommercial, first, right? And of course, Robert Rennie, choral master, Black of course himself, who has also sung a number of top calypsos. He never won the crown with them, but the year that he sang something we might consider just a little teaser, he won the crown with that. So it comes back to the point, you know, a lot of calypsos, they don't necessarily win the crown, but they are timeless. And Ho Black has proven that. So I now turn the mic to Kevin.
Good afternoon, good night, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of TOT Soca Village, I would like to present this check to the FRC. Oh gosh. Two is yours. I think we have 2,000. 2,800 in our tradition, we are in a planting tradition, when we sow seeds. We sow seeds, small seeds, and it mushrooms up now. We're trying to raise around 8 million.
They already give you it.
For us to get 1% back on the street there, estimated about 8 million. So, easy. So, with that 2.8, we're going to plan that. And we know that that is going to really grow. And if every living group can offer level 2.8 by no time, so we really appreciate. Totally. Yeah. We really want to build you all up, and we want to say to St. Lucia and the streaming high, right? To the we always said when the fire can burn more building, it can't burn more FRC. And we can see through that contribution that fire can't burn us. And we will continue to rise, and you are giving us the wings to do so. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Judas piece or what?
It's going to the safe.
Thank you, TOT. Give them a round of applause again. So to wrap up, we have a lot of talented Calypso. We just want to invite somebody to come and sing about a pastor. Just sing a song. Huh? Give us what you want. He's a choral master.
Oh my gosh. National School Choir, yes. Boy, which song I was? Alright, okay. To my surprise, I got a message. Somebody opened a fake account to blackmail me, say they have leverage. My photos they will spread around. They say they see me in Babylon, to Mazu and Mentriple, and they ready to expose me, cause they know I does sing in church. I dropped everything I was doing. A response I start formulating. How is my business you them mining? The people man you they watching. Upa police, upa mama, upa madame, upa shot moi. Malpal, that's not your business. Whose driveway I parking in? Thank you.
People calling for you. Hold. Move around down. That's my request. You have the next name, Mr. DJ? Can you get it for us? Well, I'm tonight. As a Calypso and as a writer, think I did what I'm doing for the next coming season. Yeah.
It's time to join CCG. Go. Exactly what the leader of the show. Thank you. And I think it's a good point. Everybody getting warm now? No, okay. Papa will be tricky, so because I already want to host. We'll take a round of host from TC and we'll have some drinks. Yeah, to see the good we are looking before. And he's a master of Akoko. Yeah, keep it with the team, give us something. I'm like one of them typical I used to just leave my head after the but interesting session tonight. Thank the FRC for inviting me. I really Lucia soars to celestial heights of global excellence. Helen slumped to abysmal depth of criminal decadence. It's like Lucia's womb yielded Walcott and Lewis, and Helen's nourished depraved murderers and rapists. Helen's a loser. Lucia a winner, Lucia is a saint, Helen a sinner. Cause Lucia and Helen don't get on, they have little in common. Lucia is a saint, Helen ain't. Lucia calm and religious, Helen armed and dangerous. Lucia is a sin. Helen ain't. For this dreadful war to end, from heaven Lucia must descend to feel and comprehend the earthly plights of Helen. Okay, we'll wrap up with Papa. Kaiso.
Papa, if I say, Papa without the mask.
Well, you catch me out of character because I don't normally sing, without the profile, but I will try my best tonight. I want a little number here called Stay in the Section. I am a strong political commentator, though a lot of my friends believe otherwise. And this is one of the songs that I did a few years ago called Stay in the Section. It goes like this. You should have played the mass only once a year. Politicians always play the mass, don't you? And this year is no exception. I had a form in a band to join the celebration. This band will be real tight, colors will be so bright. Each politician leading a section. But you see the boy, you first leading. What? Taiwan section. Oh, what? Ghana leading. The section. Estefan leading. You know what? Banjo one section. Marcus here. No section. Politician play the mass is to see them play the mass. All of them just one word, yes sir.
Okay, we can clock out now. Okay, this is really the start of a process for us at the Folk Research Center. We want to bring back Calypso is really a review of Calypso for the season. So over the next few weeks we'll be planning the review process, which will involve some research. Poppy started this evening, have given us some information. We try to be as factual as possible in our Calypso, and then we bring the Calypsonians together to look at the season, all aspects of the season, and for us to help to make recommendations that can improve the art form. Some questions have already come out tonight from everybody. Poppy has been leading this discussion for some time now. But we'll be informing you very soon along the way of the steps, and hopefully before next season we'll have wrapped up early enough before jazz, so we could have something going to the management team of Calypso in St. Lucia. I also want to thank all of the Calypsonians this year, everybody who came across us during the season when we were documenting the Calypso season, the Calypso tent leaders, the Calypsonians themselves, those who we did special stories on, those, just passing interviews, and we have a very comprehensive documentation this year after a gap of about eight or so years. So we're hoping that will continue. One of the things we'd like to see, Boots and I, is that the management of the magazine is passed on to many other people, because whereas we have a deep passion about it, but we're not the same age that we were when we started in 1990. Yeah. You don't believe in the same? You see, I look the same way. Oh, that's not right. So, folks, thank you very much. It was a wonderful evening. We have some beverages to quench your thirst and to cool you down, and we have some snacks as well. Yes. Uh-huh. Oh, Teddy Francis. Yes. So, and you're calling the man Big Show a little effort? Oh, yeah. No, actually, Teddy and I have a different story. We were supposed to have did an extensive write-up on Legacy season, but we'll come to that next Lucian Kaiso. Because we did recognize it as well. Lucian Kaiso magazine is available at the Folk Research Center for those of you who have not purchased or acquired your copy. And also our book on the earliest history of Calypso, The Reign of the Mighty Terror, is also available, and I urge you to get a copy. That's good reading for those of you who want to understand where we came from and where we're going. Thank you, Rawle, Poppy, Raisa. And see you next year, same time. Clock out. Music, Mr. DJ.
Just after Independence Day, I'm going to be in town that day. I still cannot believe how well this right there is Constitution, chanting and waving their flag. I peeped out when I heard how they pronounce the word. Last trouble almost back. If you heard it, no surrender, no surrender, no surrender, no surrender. What are they protesting for? They don't know. The opposition leader turned them through. He took the referendum and CCJ. But there is surrender and CCJ. If you heard them, no surrender, no surrender, no surrender, no surrender, solution. The word is referendum. Just after Independence Day, happened to me in town that day. I still cannot believe the life in this match against the CCJ. Right there is Constitution.